Assalamu alaikum. I'm Malik Hodge, an angel warrior of the Midwest and a messenger of the covenant, representing the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, the self-taught one, Master Suleiman, who's given us the Injil, the gospel of revelations, with the Injil key that gives us the understanding of the unsealed scriptures. This is Up Late Update with Malik Hodge on this seventh day of September, Wednesday, 2022. This is where we take current events and get the understanding of them through the Injil perspective, where we take each topic and give you the understanding of how they fit with how they fit in today's time from the unsealed perspective of the scriptures or the Bible. Now, let us begin. Breaking news. This is breaking news. And we're going to start with breaking news. United States remains committed to negotiating a solution to the Iranian nuclear threat, but only by the terms that was laid out by the Biden administration. Speaking to a members only event by the Foreign Press Association in Jerusalem, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Thomas Knight insisted that the White House cares deeply about resolving the nuclear deal conflict with Iran in a diplomatic means, but does not intend to tie Israel's hands when it comes to defending itself from Iranian aggression. The president articulated many times, this is words from Thomas Knight. The president articulated many times that he desires of having a diplomatic solution to this conflict is we would like to extend the JCPOA by the terms that the Biden administration has laid out. It's an important thing that we care about deeply. The president has articulated many times that America will not stand by and let Iran acquire a nuclear weapon. So Then we're going to take it a step further. That excuse, excuse me, pardon me, I need a little water. Okay, I need some water in my throat. It's phone's killing me. U.S. tells Israel, false Israel, that Iran nuclear deal is off the table. The United States conveyed to Israel that a new nuclear deal between Iran and world powers is off the table. Now, they should have just said that in the beginning. According to a report in Hebrew media, U.S. President Joe Biden and other administration officials told Israel Prime Minister Yair Lapid in recent talks that the nuclear agreement would not be signed in the foreseeable future. Israel has been vocally opposed to the revisal of the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPOA. The former U.S. President Donald Trump withdrew the U.S. from in 2018 in favor of punishing sanctions on the regime in Tehran. According to Zeman Yisrael, the scrapping of the nuclear deal is a political achievement for Lapid as Israel approaches another round of parliamentary elections this November, with former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu attempting to regain power. The current Prime Minister could highlight the stopping of nuclear deal during his campaign against Netanyahu, who has relentlessly attacked Lapid on this issue. The agreement was apparently denied by Iran, insistence that the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) stop its monitoring of the Islamic Republic nuclear facilities, according to the report. Israel pressured the American to keep the issue of the UN atomic watchdog monitoring activities on the table during negotiations. So this breaking news. America This U.S. tells false Israel Iran nuclear deal is off the table. Report. So the JCPOA that we've been shared that Iran was not going to resign. That the NGO shared that this was going to be the outcome. They wasn't going back under the foot of the nation. They wasn't going back up under this JCPOA. So this event that we let you know far in advance, far before the war even broke out, far before you knew anything about what was taking place, the JCPOA. We've been consistent in this report. Consistent for 2 years. And Master Suleiman's been consistent in 30 years of sharing these sharing what's going to take place in from the unsealed scriptures. So this is things that events that the scriptures have written in them, each and every event, and what's the outcome of them. So cross that they're not done. They said not in any time soon, but they're not going to let them acquire nuclear weapons. So what does that mean? They and at the same time they have shared that they are going into stage 2 or plan B. They're opening up plan B. Plan B was what? War. So to show you how right and exact the NGO is into what's taking place, how it's going far in advance, what's going to happen, what's the outcome. Of being it, from knowing what's going to happen, from the angel sharing what's taking place step by step. So we've been watching and been sharing to keep your eye on the JCPOA. This JCPOA will be the spark that is going to spark the war in the Middle East. So we're getting closer, because as you see, and we've shared twice, that America has stated, U.S. tells false Israel, that Iran nuclear deal is off the table. We can't be any more blatant or direct than that. So there you have it. You may, well, no. We'll speak on it after we get through with our other with our next topics, because this is our main. This is the breaking news. This is our main topic for this evening, because this is what this is the event that we've been sharing with you each night, every night, the outcome of, and what to look, how the outcome was going to come out. So no matter where it went, how close they said it was, and all this, we've been consistently sharing with you that the nuclear deal was not going to be, Iran was not going to go back into the JCPOA from the angel, the unsealed scriptures shared that was going to be the outcome. Now the next outcome and the event that is coming out of this is Plan B. What they call Plan B, which the war in the Middle East. So we're going to bring that to a full circle in when we speak about our when we do our overview, we'll bring it back up. However, Putin threatens to abandon grain deal, further squeeze energy supplies. So let's get that. That's serious. So Putin threatens to restrict Ukraine grain exports from European countries, accusing them of acting like colonial powers. Russian President Vladimir Putin threatened Wednesday to restrict Ukraine grain exports to European countries and accuse them of acting like colonial powers, as he used misleading figures to claim that developing countries are receiving a fraction of exports they were expecting under the UN broken Black Sea Grain Initiative. Okay. In remarks during his opening speech at the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, Putin cited figures that do not accurately reflect current UK data on grain shipments, and said he would discuss amending the deal to limit the export of grain and other foodstuffs to European countries. only 3% of the grains being exported from Ukraine is going to developing countries. The majority is going to Europe. Over the past decades, European countries have acted like colonial powers. They are continuing to act like that today, Putin claimed. Erroneously, once again, they have deceived developing countries, he said, adding that it may be worth considering how to limit the exports of grains and other food along the route. I will certainly consult on the subject with the president of Turkey, Mr. Erdogan, because it was him and me who worked out a mechanism for the exports of Ukrainian grain, he said. In the statement to CNN, the United Nations said that under the Black Sea Grain Initiative, roughly 30% of the grains and other foodstuffs have made it to low and lower middle income countries, or approximately 700,000 metric tons. Among countries classified by the World Bank as low and lower middle income, the UN says the 10% of the initiative experts have been sent to Egypt, 5% to Iran, 4% to India, 3% to Sudan, 2% to Yemen, 2% to Kenya, 1% to Somalia, 1% to Djibouti, and less than 1% to Lebanon. Among countries classified by the World Bank as upper middle or high income, the UN says that 20% of the initiative exports have been sent to Turkey, 15% to Spain, 7% to China, 7% to Italy, 6% to South Korea, 5% to Netherlands, 4% to Romania, 3% to Germany, 2% to Israel, 1% to Ireland, 1% to France, and less than 1% to Greece and Bulgaria. The statement said that foodstuffs sent to Turkey may have been shipped onward to other countries in Asia or Africa. So now we're gonna listen. Now I'm gonna go back to the end of that. Make sure y'all caught that. Now maybe you haven't. Maybe 1%. 1% here, 1%. Now but when it said, listen to this. It said, the statement said that foodstuffs sent to Turkey may have been shipped onward to other countries in Asia and Africa. So we know that Asia and Africa And Africa being one that is really suffering from the lack of grains that usually come in from Ukraine. And you also know that Putin have sent Russian advisors, Russian representatives to do business and set up things with Africa. And the whole thing is there wasn't a 1%, there was a maybe percent of Africa even receiving grains. There wasn't. So Vladimir Putin is saying that Europe, or the Europeans, is acting like colonialists. What's the word? They're acting like colonial powers. So he's saying that they're not even sending the grains. They're stockpiling the grains in their countries, in the European countries. And they're not sending no grain down to the other countries, the lower income countries, or the countries where they would like that needs the grains. So he said Vladimir Putin is saying that he's gonna stop. He's threatening them to let them know that he knows what you're doing, and I'm gonna see he's reached out to these other countries in Africa, and making setting up business adventures and things with African countries. Now, the thing on it is, and he's probably, and more than likely, he's telling the truth, because the one thing that we have to make sure that you pay attention to that is what the information that they withhold, and the information that they withhold about what's taking place, where the grains are, and due to what's happening, it's not out of it wouldn't be out of the ordinary. That's probably what's happening for real. They're harboring and taking, and they're going to make sure their people is okay. They're not going to make sure the grains get to where they're going to be. And then they come up and give this elaborate, well, this went to there and this went. Y'all always gonna make, when you're dealing with the Europeans, y'all always make some paperwork up to say what was. That don't mean it definitely don't mean what happened and what's the truth. But you definitely didn't even have a percent going to Africa, into Africa countries, deep into Africa. None. No. It was a maybe, and see, that's what he said. It's nowhere in the world that these countries that has been relying on these grains not receiving them, and with the droughts and the lack of grains and things that is taking place in Africa, and they're not getting any of the grains, then you think no one's saying anything and he doesn't know? And the Europeans, that they're always propaganda. They live off of propaganda. That's all they do is propaganda. They're not telling the truth. They know what they're doing. They're just hoarding and distorting and keeping everything for themselves. They see what's taking place now. And they think everybody is blind or dumb and somebody's not watching them like they watching everybody else. Like they got an eye on everybody else, but nobody's watching them. So they can say anything and get away with anything. But Putin's up on top of them, and he's threatened to abandon the grain deal because the grains is not getting to where he wants them to get. And the European nations are trying to harvest the grains and just look out for themselves because they know what's coming up, and they know they're not going to tell them, yeah, we take out the grain. No, they're not going to come out and get the truth. So, so they're being watched. He understands, and he's going to pull the plug on them, just like he pulled the plug on them on the gas, on the energy, the gas, the pipeline. So well, I did. I'm gonna go into that as well. We're gonna go into that as well because he did give a speech on the pipeline as well. Let me see where we at. Well, let us that'll be good because it's something to speak on that's real detrimental right now. Putin is defying speed threatening Western gas and grain supplies because Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday called Western sanctions stupid and threatened to halt all energy sales to Russia countries if they move forward with a cap on oil prices proposal by the group of 7 industrialized economic powers. We will not supply gas, oil, coal, heating, oil. We will not supply anything, Putin said in a defiant speech as the plenary season of the Eastern Economic forum, which was being held in the city of Vladivostok in Russia. Far East, Putin added that Moscow will let the wolves' tails freeze in reference to the famous Russian fairy tale. But in the West, on defiant rejoinder, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on Wednesday retaliated reiterated that the European Union intends to break Russia's grip on global energy markets and would press ahead with caps on both oil and natural gas prices. Woo-hoo. Not only because Russia is an unreliable supplier, as we have witnessed in the last days, weeks, months, but also because Russia is actively manipulating the gas market. Von der Leyen told reporters in Brussels, I am deeply convinced that with our unity, our determination, our solidarity, we will prevail. In his combative, at times scornful remarks, Putin said he expects his country to emerge stronger from the war in Ukraine, and he issued threats meant to pressure the West to ease sanctions imposed on Russia since its invasion began February 24th. I'm sure we have not lost anything and will not lose anything, Putin said. The main thing is strengthening our sovereignty, and this is the inevitable result of what is happening now. Putin declared that Russia would press on with its military actions in Ukraine, and polarization produced by the conflict will only benefit Russia, as it is cleanses harmful element inside the country. Western intelligence agency estimate that Russia has lost tens of thousands of soldiers in the 6+ months of the war, and vast amount of military equipment. that the country is struggling to replace. The Russian campaign has stalled in recent weeks, and Ukraine, although still heavily outmatched, is mounting counter offensives in the south and in the eastern Donbass region, aimed at recapturing occupied territory. So there you have it. They're trying to force a cap on Russian oil. They blatantly said they're going to make Russia submit. They're going to break Russia. That's the words. They're going to break Russia. Well, it's a lot of tough talk, and it's something else that we're going to have to witness. And we've been telling you what the NGO shared along with that, because these things are setting up the stage for what's about to take place. Now, we read these things or we could go into some more topics, but this is setting the stage for what about to occur. Now, the war in the Middle East, where the JCPOA, it's off the table. We spoke on that. So the war in the Middle East is about to take place. There's no doubt. That's plan B. As we've been sharing from at all times, every day in, every report, we share that this is what's going to take place from the engine perspective, from the unsealed scriptures. So the war in the Middle East is inevitable. It's always been. However, what is these is big threats. We're going to shut Russia down. We're going to do this. If you don't understand, this is mountain UN. This is a war that NATO, the UN, and all are trying. They've forced this to happen. They made it happen. America is pushing this agenda. Forced Russia's hand. Made these things happen. Now, you hear this tough talk, they're going to do this. However, they need oil, food, grain, gas. They're saying they know that they're with what's taking place in Europe, all through Europe, Britain, Germany, extreme heat, drought, floods, monsoons. And now they have to prepare for a harsh winter. And the pipeline that comes from Russia, the North Stream 1, is shut down. They're not getting any oil. So now they saying that we're gonna cut prices on your oil and gas. Russia said, y'all not cutting nothing on nothing of ours. Y'all not gonna cut. Hold it. Y'all ain't making no restrictions. Y'all not running nothing. This is a bully, and who? This is a bully tactic, and this is what This is this is the democracy. This is European. This is the European nations. This democracy. This is what they're about. This bullying. They're gonna tell you what to do, what you is gonna do, what you ain't gonna do. How you gonna do it? We're gonna attack you. We're gonna take you to war, and you gonna give us all, and you gonna do that. If you're not gonna do that, so this is what this civilization is built on. This crazy. This is what it's built on. As you see, we're gonna make you. We're gonna do this. We're gonna take you to war. This is we have to get out. This is what we got to get out of this. But this is the news report. We also speaking on what's taking place from the individual perspective. Now, when it gets cold, you hear politicians running their mouths because they may have some they might be able to score some heat when it's cold. They might have certain areas to where they can go, but their people, the businesses, corporations, stores are shutting. So all this tough talk, and you got stores shutting already. Businesses telling you they're not going to be able to be open because they can't afford the prices, and they don't. Not only can they, how you going to afford something that you're not going to have any of? But you talking tough. Basically, they're saying that, we're going to go to war. We're going to take this. We're going to break them. What does break them mean? We're going to take it. Versus say you're not going to get anything. But when it gets cold, and the average people is out there, they're freezing. They might not have food. They're gonna uprise. It's gonna be an uprising. And they're planning. They're planning for an uprising because they're even saying that they know our people might uprise on us. But from the individual perspective, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Nobody's gonna sit around and be hungry and cold just because the government want to be ignorant and want to take somebody to war. Want to be at war with the people that have that can turn on the system and get you what you need and get you some heat. That can send a shipment of food, to you. So how long do you think these politicians is going to be running their mouths with all this rhetoric, this back and forth, trying to force something on somebody before the regular people go crazy and start to rebel, start to come up against the whole system. So we're going to be seeing that this year. That's something else. So we telling you to get ready for. So this is breaking news with one breaking news event happened in your face that we share with you. The next breaking news is the war in the Middle East. because the JCPOA is the spark to that war that will happen in the Middle East that we speak on every day. That Michael and his angels. Let me look at my time because I'm really want that Michael and his angels are going to go to war with the dragon and his angels. Michael and his angels being Master Farad Muhammad, the 12th Imam of the Shia. They're going to go to war, Iran and Syria, with the dragon, the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia, Britain and America that is sitting in the Middle East, and false Israel that have been set up by Gog and Magog, Britain and America in the Middle East. So Michael and his angels are going to remove the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia. They're going to remove and kick out Britain and America from the Middle East. And they're going to siege and then destroy false Israel. False Israel will be the first to be destroyed, taken out, literally. False Israel is at the top of the list. They had a direct hand. They're the synagogue of Satan that kidnapped the true seed of Abraham, took them and sold them into slavery. Not only did they do that, they took their identity. They set up a whole movement on the heads of the demons, but they affected the black man and woman. Once again, they have been a parasite and lived off of them and wrote all kind of laws up that secured false Israel, secured the money and the money coming in, and secured them on living for making a change in the whole American system to work for them, as they were set over there to try to stop the black man and woman, stop us from knowing that we're the true seed of Abraham. So this is the angel. We're speaking from the Gospel of Revelations, the angel, the unsealed scriptures that was given to us by Master Suleiman. This is breaking news, because one thing is broke. Now we're knowing that this war in the Middle East, this is what's going to happen. This is the next event for you to understand that the same way this news is breaking news, now we're giving you the understanding that the U.S. said that Iran is not false Israel, told our false Israel that the JCPOA is off the table. So we've been letting you know that far in advance before they said it wasn't, that was the event. Now that event is broke. Now, for you to keep your eyes on the next breaking news that'll be coming near you, we will definitely share with you when America and Britain is kicked out the Middle East. When this war takes place with Michael and his angels. With the house aside, with the dragon and his angels. So we'll be breaking that news as well. And once again, showing you the accuracy and the truth being shared with you from the unsealed perspective of the angel. So that is where we are. That is these things. As I was saying, I got to bring that up as well. And in the winter, we'll see where the minds of the people are in Europe, in Germany, and in France, and all these other European countries when it get cold. See if the politicians can keep up their rhetoric and tough talk when the people are freezing and suffering for what they are doing. So before we end, I'm gonna go into, I did a roundabout. So I still wants to go into this oh well, it's no big. It's this thing. I want to see it. The hurricane, because of what's taking place in California is something. It's really something to look at with how it's happening, because it is serious forest fires. I mean, serious fires devastating California right now. And let's see what this devastating it too. Okay, let's see what's going on. All right. Let me see. Our time is up. Well, I wanna. Well, we'll get to it another day. We'll look at it tomorrow. However, because it is some things out here that's taking place, and I really it's a lot of serious things happening that we can speak on. However, this is we're gonna wrap this up for this evening, because this breaking news, this is our main concern is to give you the news that is an imminent concern of what's taking place from the scripture standpoint, and what's causing things, which is giving us the understanding of how things are going, what's happening in the world that is going to affect us as a people. And why these things are happening, what's causing these things to happen, is a direct effect from the original man and woman, the black man and woman of America. Is a direct effect. It's causing these things to happen because that of the true seed of Abraham. That the true seed of Abraham is a direct effect, a reason behind why these things are taking place. And the unsealed scriptures are sharing these things of what's going to take place, how it's going to take place, and why this is consequence. This is the end of 6,000 years. This is the end of 4,000 years. 400 years, excuse me. In the end of their 6,000 years. This is the end of a nation, of a civilization, and a new civilization. This is a civilization being taken down and a civilization coming in, being brought in. And this is, we're at the abomination of desolation. That's what this war in the Middle East, this war in the Middle East is titled the abomination of desolation. And it's be a shock of the eye to see the outcome of it. It's going to shock the world. It's going to make the whole world know that the black man and woman is definitely the true seed of Abraham. Now we just stepped into 2020 knowing in advance what was taking place, that 1619 to 2019 was the 400 years, and then the plague was released to kill the firstborn of Egypt. We went through the 5 months of plague from the George Floyd to 5 months after it and just disappeared. Now we've entered, and the JCPOA is off the table, as we've been sharing far in advance that it wasn't we signed the JCPOA. Now, the war in the Middle East, the abomination of desolation, the shock of the hour is born. Hey, it can happen tonight. Any moment. This is it. We expect any moment. And then the outcome of that is the shock of the hour. I read the House of Saud, the dragon, the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia being taken down in the Middle East. Gog and Magog, Britain and America is going to be kicked out, removed from the Middle East, and false Israel is going to be seized and destroyed. And this is from the angel perspective, unsealed scriptures. And like I said before, it's going to be a shock of the hour, and everyone will know. It won't be nothing blocking. Won't be no lies. This liar sitting on the throne, this lying throne, that Gog and Magog set the synagogue of Satan in heaven, or set them in the Middle East. Lying, stole our identity, and lying and living off of us. Well, we're gonna bring this to a close. We already reached our time, and this breaking news up late with Malik Hodge, and we'll see you again tomorrow at the same time, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern and 9 o'clock Pacific. And I greet you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.